What if I told you that there are countless abandoned Chevy vehicles out there simply waiting to be found again? Automobiles that dominated the streets in the past but have since faded into obscurity. Automobiles that would make you the center of attention at every cruise night and car show. We're going to go on a crazy ride into Chevy's hidden garage, so fasten your seatbelt. We've uncovered 10 timeless songs that will have you wondering how we could have allowed them to disappear. These overlooked treasures, which range from muscular monsters to oddball compacts, are going to astound you. Number 1. In 1954 Chevy. Imagine that in 1954, Chevy is introducing a vehicle that is poised to become a global sensation. In 1 year, more than 1.3 million units were sold. The 1954 Chevy was a real beast of the sales charts, you know. But today, very few people recall it. Why? Due to its unfortunate position directly in front of the iconic Tri-5 Chevys. Let's face it, this vehicle was gorgeous. It had a front end that shouted, "Look at me," and swooping lines that could make a grown man cry. Chrome for days. It was Chevy's final attempt at post-war design before they changed course in 1955. The interesting part, though, is that the 1954 Chevy was more than just a lovely face. It fulfilled a hot rodder's fantasy. Pay close attention because I'm about to blow your head. The 54 Chevy's hidden weapon was its lightweight body and strong frame, which allowed for extensive customization. This bad guy was a hit among hot rod aficionados. They would dismantle it, upgrade it, and build some of the most amazing custom bikes you've ever seen. Second place, 1960 to 1969, the Chevrolet Corvair. Let's change our focus to a vehicle that made the auto industry tremble. Imagine a Chevy that was so revolutionary that it caused people to rethink their entire perception of American automobiles. The Corvair was a complete insurrection on wheels, not just something different. The engine was trapped in the back of the Chevy. Yes, you heard correctly. Boy, did they draw attention when they got all European on us. The Corvair was more than just a lovely face. It had a lot of power in its trunk, well, hood. We are discussing independent suspension and an air-cooled engine. This nasty boy handled things like a dream. Then, however, a plot twist. When Ralph Nader drops his book Unsafe at Any Speed, the Corvair becomes the auto industry's black sheep. Sales plummeted more quickly than you could say rear engine. In 1965, Chevrolet sold more than 250,000 Corvairs. By 1969, only 6,000 rolled off the lot. Number 3, 1973 to 1976, the Laguna S3 and Chevy Chevelle SS. In the early 1970s, Chevy made a shocking announcement just when you thought muscle cars couldn't be much cooler. Gearheads were salivating over the Chevelle SS and Laguna S3, two incredible vehicles. However, the muscle car celebration was coming to an end as these monsters showed around. What a waste of time. Let's face it, these vehicles were extremely powerful. The Chevelle SS's enormous 454 cubic inch V8 engine allowed it to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 6 seconds. That's 450 horsepower, which is enough to rattle your grandmother's dentures. What about the appearance? The Colonnade style was so much more polished than a greasy pig. But there's still more. It was more than just a lovely face for the Laguna S3. This bad boy was designed to rule NASCAR, and he succeeded in doing so. It was outperforming the competition in 1975 and 1976. Imagine driving a car that could compete with the big boys on the racetrack down Main Street. That's a right to boast. 1975 Corvette number 4. Now, let's discuss the Corvette from 1975. You aware that America's favorite sports automobile has always been the Corvette? Chevy did something so outrageous in 1975 that it's difficult to believe it. Think about a Corvette that only has 165 horsepower. Yes, you heard correctly. Your neighbor's budget car was more powerful than this monstrous behemoth. The problem is that this year wasn't merely a poor one. The C3 generation was at its lowest point. Gas costs skyrocketed after the government imposed stringent pollution regulations. That base engine was virtually pleading for mercy, so Chevy had to neuter it. This is where things get insane, though. Chevy sold over 38,000 of these Corvettes despite having this weakling beneath the hood. Over some of the good years, that is. People seem to be purchasing the name rather than the performance. Why should we care about this sad excuse for a sports car? Is probably what you're asking yourself now. Watch this then. It gives us a valuable insight. Even the most well-known brands might suffer. However, it also demonstrates that a real legend may recover. The Corvette returned stronger than before. Thus, it didn't die here. Number 5, 1975 to 1976, the Chevy Cosworth Vega. Now, let's discuss the Cosworth Vega. Consider a Chevy that combines elements of an economy car with a race car. Doesn't it sound crazy? That's precisely what Chevy came up with in 1975. They collaborated with the British engine experts Cosworth to produce a Vega that would make gearheads salivate. The problem is that this Vega was not like the others. Its 2.0-liter engine produced 110 horsepower and had 16 valves. However, it was Chevy's first electronic fuel injection vehicle. That's a lot of technology for 1975. Furthermore, these engines were constructed in the same clean room as the renowned ZL1427. How wonderful it is to touch shoulders with brilliance. This is where things get crazy, though. In roughly 8.5 seconds, this little pocket rocket could reach 60 miles per hour. At the time, that wasn't too bad for a small automobile. Additionally, it could reach 7,000 RPM. Imagine how that engine would scream as it drove down the highway. Why, therefore, are you unaware of it? Over the course of 2 years, Chevy only produced 3,508 of these bad boys. They weren't inexpensive either. It was only $900 less expensive than a Corvette. Yes, you heard correctly. A Vega that was nearly as expensive as the sports car in America. Number 6, Chevy Citation, 1980 to 1985. Okay, get ready for the crazy journey that is the Chevy Citation. This vehicle was meant to represent Chevy's key to the future. Their first front-wheel drive compact was created to appeal to drivers who are fuel-efficient and car-conscious, and it got off to a great start. In 1980, the Citation won the Car of the Year title from Motor Trend. People were enamored by it. For a brief period, it was the best-selling vehicle in the United States. This appeared to be a dream come true on paper. A spacious interior? Verify. You can bet on good fuel economy. Contemporary style? Of course. However, this is when things quickly went wrong. The Citation became a problem for quality control. Here's the thing. By 1985, Chevy had recalled this vehicle more than 20 times. Some vehicles see more than that in their lifespan. They were distributing recalls like Halloween candy. Number 7, 2003 to 2006 Super Sport Roadster, or Chevy SSR. Imagine this. Retro design is very popular in 2003. With an outrageous concept, a convertible pickup truck modeled after their 50s models, Chevrolet chooses to join the trend. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? The public, however, didn't believe that. Everyone was left wondering why the Super Sport Roadster, or SSR, was a sales abject failure. How could a V8-powered convertible truck go wrong? You may be asking yourself now. The problem is that the SSR was in a strange state of limbo. It was too heavy to be a true sports car, yet it wasn't useful enough to be a truck. Consider attempting to transport goods in a car that prioritizes appearance over functionality. For you, that is the SSR. Let's take a moment to discuss that weight. Were you aware that the Chevy Trailblazer SUV and the SSR shared a platform? This is the reason this sporty truck weighed more than 4,700 pounds. It's like if Chevy constructed a heavyweight boxer by mistake while attempting to create a sports car. Number 8, 2006 to 2007 Chevy Impala SS and Monte Carlo SS. Chevy did something even more crazy than a convertible pickup, just when you thought they couldn't get any weirder. Imagine this. Chevy chooses to put a V8 engine into a family vehicle with front-wheel drive in 2006. However, It outperformed the majority of sports cars at the time, presenting the final iteration of the front-wheel drive V8 muscle vehicle, the Monte Carlo SS and Impala SS. In a world full of Camrys and Accords, these were stealth fighters, not your grandfather's dull sedans. Chevy's 5.3-liter LS4 V8 engine produced 303 horsepower, a family sedan with 303 horsepower. The Impala SS was capable of reaching 60 miles per hour in 5.6 seconds. That's quicker than many modern so-called sports automobiles. However, very few people took attention. It's like if Chevy created a weapon of mass destruction and neglected to disclose it. An era came to an end with these muscle sedans. They demonstrated that V8 power could still be found in a useful compact. The majority of consumers were unaware that Chevy was attempting to SSify its entire lineup. They seem to have been the final dancers at an early ending party. Number 9. 2011 to 2017 PPV Police Pursuit Vehicle, Chevy Caprice. Chevy performed the ultimate sleeper move just when you thought they couldn't be any wilder. Consider a Chevy that resembled your grandfather's sedan but was capable of smoking most sports cars. Doesn't it sound crazy? The Chevrolet Caprice PPV was a wolf in sheep's clothing, so fasten your seatbelt. Without a badge, you couldn't purchase one. Yes, this beast was reserved for police officers. However, this was no ordinary police cruiser. In reality, it was an Australian-made Holden Commodore that had been rebranded. The muscle sedan concept from Australia was given a facelift by Chevy. Let's discuss power. This vehicle has a 6.0-liter LS V8 engine that produced 335 horsepower. In under 6 seconds flat, it could reach 60 miles per hour. That's catch me if you can territory, not simply speedy. Additionally, it could tackle curves with ease thanks to its rear-wheel drive arrangement. However, vehicle enthusiasts are starting to show a strong interest in these former police officers. They're selling them for a fraction of the price of a sedan with similar performance. It's similar, like discovering an undiscovered treasure trove of muscle cars at your neighborhood police auction. Number 10. Chevrolet SS, 2014 to 2017. Chevy discreetly unveiled a car that should have ignited the automotive industry just when Pontiac enthusiasts believed there was no hope left. However, very few were aware of its existence. Without a sound, the Chevy SS haunted showrooms like a ghost. Consider a 4-door Corvette that is inconspicuous. The SS was precisely that. This automobile was a beast, let's face it. With a 6.2-liter LS3 V8 engine that produces 415 horsepower, it might compete with sports sedans from Europe that cost twice as much. Furthermore, straight-line speed isn't the only thing we're discussing. Brembo brakes and magnetic ride control were among the many extras that came with the SS. It was essentially a bow-tie-badged BMW M5. The strange aspect, though, is that Chevy's SS marketing was so subtle that you would assume they were attempting to hide it. They sold slightly more than 4,000 SS sedans in their last year. You can understand why this performance powerhouse went unnoticed when you contrast it with the 300,000 Malibus that are flying off lots. Keep a close eye on the SS since it is rapidly becoming a contemporary classic. Car aficionados pleaded for it, but no one purchased it. As collectors understand what they missed, prices are now gradually rising. Discovering that your peaceful neighbor was actually a superhero all along is similar to that.